world you are graduating into.
Story of one of the most recognizable man-made textures.
This is the oldest pair of 501 jeans in the world.
I grew my hair long. I started wearing bell-bottoms and cool clothes.
You put on a great pair of great-looking denim jeans, and suddenly you're the rock star.
Jeans are very sexy on people.
When I see Iggy Pop wearing these jeans,
you can tell so much about an individual by his jeans.
Clearly, jeans get started as a symbol of America.
The hippies all of a sudden embraced them.
It was a fashion statement in the 60s.
We in Europe saw what it was, took its spirit, and then it was recreated back.
I remember the French jeans store on East 60th Street had a couch where girls would have to lie on their backs to zip up the zippers because they were so tight.
We're jean hunters.
About a 1930s denim apron. Maybe it's a $2,000 jean.
You know, denim is integrity. It's blue collar, it's working man, you know, that's what rock and roll always is.
But the jeans we would wear so much that holes would start forming around our knees. And then everyone started wearing jeans with holes in them.
Then we'll take starch, like flood it with starch and iron them to death. They could literally stand on their own.
I did what I had to do and saw it through
without exemption.
I planned each chartered course, each careful step.
Along the byway.
And more.
Much more than this. I did it
my way.
Are you still finding this stuff?
Oh yeah.
I want to follow you around for a little while.
It's like the first question women ask, do these jeans make me look fat? And how does my butt look?
It initially mattered that Levi's were made in the US. That initial association, I think, mattered. But the iconography, the mythology, still trumps all of that stuff.
Every pair tells a story.
The golden age of America begins right now.
The beautiful poetry of Donald Trump.
Good genes. Good genes. All men are created equal. Well, it's not true. Some are smart, some aren't. Do we believe in the gene thing? I mean, I do. I'm blessed with good genes. Good, great brain. Good-sized hands, German blood. Slow horses don't produce fast horses.
Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced it all, and I stood tall, and did it my way.
This is a show about this Irish cop family, and I play their dad, Frank Reagan. My dad was a police chief, and now I'm the police chief.
And what is your response to polls that show an endemic lack of faith in police by the Latino community?
I don't respond to polls, Miss Davidson, but since I've been on the job, crime is down across the board. He is a guy with an Irish temper, but unlike his son, Danny, played by Donnie Wahlberg, he's able to sit on it and be a little more diplomatic.
playing Tom Selleck's son. Danny Reagan he's complicated.
Police, open up. Where's the little girl?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you do. Snatched her off the street. Now, where is she?
You know what? I don't even have to talk to you. I know my rights.
Talk to us then. What are you doing? Hey, come on. You ready to talk now? Huh?
Every cop has to make a choice of how far they want to go over the line to get the job done. And Danny, I think he's willing to cross it, and I think he has his reasons.
What did you think you were doing?
What do you mean what I was doing? I was saving a little girl's life.
You crossed the line, Danny.
Get off my case.
Oh, I'll be getting off your case. You're my brother. I'll have to recuse myself if this goes to trial. But that's a really big if, isn't it?
My character's name is Erin Reagan Boyle. I am the only daughter in the family and DA in the DA's office. There's so much to her, going through a divorce and being a single parent and being a working mom. Those three things are pretty huge individually, and then you add this dynamic family.
I've got 25 cases on my desk, divorce papers that my ex won't sign, and a brother who thinks I'm Miss Goody Two-Shoes.
Tough week, huh?
Yeah.
So she's actually the only one in the family that's not a cop, which is a lot of fun at the dinner table.
Danny, you're supposed to be enforcing the law, not making it up as you go along.
You have no idea what goes on.
Jamie, what do you think? You got a law degree.
Aaron's right. It's a slippery slope. You just wait a little, brother. One night you chase some guy down a dark alley and that little object in his hand, maybe it's a cell phone, maybe it's not.
I'm playing Jamie Reagan. He has gone to Harvard Law, and graduated. That was sort of the family's idea, but really mostly Mom, who's passed away.
She always wanted my young son to go to college and be a lawyer and get out of the family business. So what does he do? He quits and becomes a beat cop.
Don't think just because your old man's the chief, I'm going to be cutting you any slack. You're going to have to earn it just like everyone else.
Family is really going to be the main focus, and you're going to care about these characters.
All the characters have their personal lives and their things going on.
And I think when you put them together, it's an interesting bunch.
You can see the bond there.
It's in the blood.
Now, what will it take for us to get that videotape? The end of the world.
Hey, so we can rule out the Himalayan yoga masters. Check out what my connection at the coroner's office gave me. You're not going to see any of this in Jake's official autopsy report. Believe it or not, they're gills.
That's disgusting.
Personally, I find the gaping bullet wound more disturbing.
Okay, if that shooter hadn't shown up when he did, I'd be dead. So forgive me if I don't have more sympathy for the gill boy who tried to drown me.
Jake was exposed to the media rocks. He didn't ask for them.
No, just like Greg Arkin didn't ask to become a bug boy, and Tina Greer didn't ask to become a bone morpher. Look, the fact is, when they got their powers, they went psycho and tried to kill me.
How you doing? Superman, you gotta give me a high five. You look so powerful. High five. That's oh! You're so strong. You knocked me over. You've been lifting weights, haven't you?
On the planet.
You look so big.
And he's got his hair like Superman.
He's got a Superman hair.
I'm doing my thing.
I was flexing. Donald Trump is here tonight. Now I know that he's taken some flack lately, but no one is happier, no one is prouder to put this birth certificate matter to rest than the Donald. And that's because he can finally get back to focusing on the issues that matter. Like, did we fake the moon landing? What really happened in Roswell? And where are Biggie and Tupac?
Napoleon, Alexander the Great, Donald Trump. We're all cut from the same cloth.
Ellen DeGeneres sits next to former President George W. Bush at a Dallas Cowboys football game, and it sent Twitter into a frenzy. Here's what she had to say to the critics.
People were upset. They thought, why is a gay Hollywood liberal sitting next to a conservative Republican president? Didn't even notice I'm holding the brand new iPhone 11. But a lot of people were mad, and they did what people do when they're mad. They tweet.
That part of what makes our country great is that our membership is based not on our bloodline, not on what we look like, what our last names are. It's not based on where our parents or grandparents came from or how recently they arrived, but on adherence to a common creed.
Now, oil used to fly airlines, right? But even back there then, man, it got to the place where it was agitating his spirit. Sure. People coming up to him. He had become famous, and they wanting him to pray for him and all that. You can't manage that today. Right. This dope-filled world. Right. You get in a long tube with a bunch of demons. Right. That's exactly the. And it's deadly. And.
Isn't it true that you want to fly commercial so that you can fly in luxury? How much money did you pay for Tyler Perry's Gulfstream jet, for example?
Well, for example, that's really none of your business, but...
Isn't it the business of your donors?
Listen, I paid. You kind of caught me off guard here, okay?
You said that you don't like to fly commercial because you don't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did. We wrestle not with flesh and blood, but principalities and power.
Flat iron.
Levels. 225.
Copper, creatinine, and chloride are all high.
Clock is ticking. Let's not waste time. Erythrocyte and leukocyte counts confirmed. Initializing full body spectral scan. Getting in progress. Vertical asymptote at X. Preparing for DNA extraction. You don't know who I am. You'll never see me coming.
Hey guys, enter the stars, and we have discovered the secret behind Bluetooth. This video is going to be amazing. First, we're going to get into the last video that I uploaded about Jay-Z and his music video 444, because this ties in to Bluetooth. This also ties in to Vikings, the series that I just finished watching. Jay-Z uploaded a music video for his album and song named 444. Now, not only did he upload this, what you're going to hear is he talks about Bluetooth. Listen. This is an excerpt from his music video. We hear the Bluetooth. Now, I do know that Blue Ivy is his daughter's name, but this goes very deep. This is why he's mentioning the tooth. We're going to get into this. Now, what you're looking at here is a film called 444, The Last Day on Earth. It released in 2011, 2012. It's got the same name as Jay-Z's video. And here we see the snake eating its tail. But we also see the blue tooth prominently shown, matching up, overlaying Jay-Z's video. Watch. There's the blue tooth right here. It seems to be highlighted. And in this movie, it's the end of the world. It's the last days on Earth. She's painting this picture of the Ouroboros. The Ouroboros is the snake eating its tail. It's time. It's the sine wave. It is sin. Watch.
As though our tradition were a gift, and
so this goes on. We see many overlays of these people just all spaced out because they know the world's coming, and we see the same voodoo. It's like this voodoo stare in this black woman here. This is from the film again. I call it the voodoo stare. See her eyes? And everyone is spaced out because the world's going to end. This released right around the time of 2012 when all of this end of the world stuff was going on. And here they're laying in the middle of the Ouroboros.
Then I saw an angel coming down from heaven, holding in his hand the key to the bottomless pit and a great chain. And he seized the dragon, that ancient serpent, and bound him for 1,000 years, and threw him into the pit and shut it and sealed it over him, that he might not deceive the nations any longer. The wicked plots against the just, and they gnash their teeth upon the just people. My loins are filled with a loathsome disease, knowing you have committed such a sin. And from now on you're cursed from the earth. Dust to dust, ashes to ashes, ashes to ashes. remember, all come from dust. To dust all shall return.
Sorry, country, I know you don't want this really, but till we get us some justice, we spin every city up.
And there is time, signifying the time wave, sin, the sine wave, which is the snake. The dust eating dust, that was the curse of the dust. The serpent will go on his dust and eat dust all the days of his life. That brings us back to what we're going to talk about now, and that is Bluetooth. Now this is crazy, because Bluetooth was named after Harold Bluetooth, the Viking. Harold Bluetooth, it says right here in the Bluetooth Wikipedia page. I'm not making this up. Now what's so special about Harold Bluetooth, other than he had a bluish black tooth? This is why they named him Harold Bluetooth. Well, Bluetooth's grandfather was Sigurd, snake in the eye. He had an Ouroboros. He was born with an Ouroboros in his pupil. A snake biting its own tail, which was what we just showed you in this film. And we just showed you how Jay-Z referenced this in his 444 music video. Now this was prophesied by his mother Oslog. So we had Harold Bluetooth, which is what Bluetooth was named after. We showed you the Ouroboros, and then his grandfather, Sigurd, snake in the eye, had an Ouroboros in his eye. Now all of this was depicted in the Vikings on the History Channel, which I just got done watching. They even showed the Ouroboros surrounding Floki. Who is Floki? Well, he was like the Loki character of the Vikings, and he was being punished, and they tied him to a pole. And then Ragnar, the king, drew an Ouroboros around Loki.
What is an Ouroboros and what does it symbolize? The Ouroboros is an ancient symbol that depicts a snake, serpent or dragon eating their tail. The symbol is at least 7,000 years old. The oldest known example ever discovered was found on a piece of pottery from the Neolithic period in what is now eastern China. The Ouroboros symbol has also been found on temples, artwork and other ancient artifacts from around the world. No one knows the exact origins of the symbol. However, some archaeologists believe it was inspired by real snakes, lizards or even pangolins, all of which curl up to protect themselves. Still others think the Ouroboros may have been inspired by the aurora borealis or australis, which can sometimes form ring-like patterns in the sky, and which may have appeared at different latitudes in ancient times. Indeed, geomythologists theorize that green auroral rings inspired the stories about fire-breathing dragons in ancient China. Still another theory is that the Ouroboros was inspired by rainbows. The Aboriginal Australians have a creation myth about a giant rainbow serpent who crosses the sky and encircles the world. The Egyptians associated the Ouroboros symbol with the sun rising and setting each day. For the Egyptians, snakes symbolized eternal life. Thus the Ouroboros was a symbol of immortality. In fact, the Egyptians depicted it on important shrines and tombs, notably King Tut's. The Ouroboros symbol was also important to the ancient Greeks. The name Ouroboros is derived from the Greek words oura, which means tail, and boros, which means eating. Because of this, the philosopher Plato wrote that the Ouroboros symbolized self-reliance. For the early Romans, the Ouroboros symbolized infinity. The Romans also associated the symbol with their god Saturn, who ruled time and the cycles of the year. For the Romans, the Ouroboros represented the old year turning into the new in an infinite cycle. The Ouroboros also came to be an important symbol for alchemists, those who practiced an early form of chemistry that incorporated medicine, spirituality, magic and astrology. alchemists' the Ouroboros symbol fit their belief in the interconnectedness of the universe, transmutation and cause and effect. In Kabbalistic Jewish mysticism, the Ouroboros is associated with the biblical sea monster called the Leviathan. In Kabbalistic beliefs, the Ouroboros, or Leviathan, is a symbol of the pursuit of spiritual enlightenment and the defeat of ignorance using wisdom. In the 1st and 2nd centuries, the Gnostics believed that humans had a direct relationship with God. So for the Gnostics, the Ouroboros symbolized unity with the divine. The Ouroboros has also been compared to the giant serpent named Jomungand from Norse mythology. In fact, the Vikings depicted Jormungandr as a giant serpent with his tail in his mouth, encircling the world.
Now it states here that Herald Bluetooth, that the Bluetooth insignia, the sign for the logo for the Bluetooth, which is here, this sign is a rune symbol. That's 2 rune symbols actually superimposed on one another, the Hagal and the Bajarkan. So I looked those up and look what I found. The Hagal means hail like snow, and the other word, Birkanen, means birch. So this is hail and the birch tree. Now, here are the different instances where it's talked about. And they talk about serpents. Hail is cold grain. They describe it as cold grain coming from heaven. They do talk about Christ in here, but I believe they're trying to mix the good with evil. The birch part of the symbol, they talk about that too. That this birch has no fruit, yet it can generate new life from its leaves. This may be something that has to do with the insemination of the serpent in the human race. Why do you say that, Casey? Because the Bluetooth is a personal area network. Yes, it is a PAN. And here's where the serpent comes in. Because in 2 of the 3 works that James Alefantis produced during his career before he opened Comet Ping Pong, he shows the serpent, Automatic at Sea, Chapel Perilous, and he talks about the serpent. He talks about the serpent being the cosmic serpent, junk DNA, ping-ponging across the universe, infecting the universe with the blue blood.
Mrs. Fiona Fondell from Huntsville, Alabama has ordered 2.
No kidding, 2?
Uh-huh. Look at the comments.
Thank you, Penny Blossoms. These will be perfect to cover my bald spots. Aww. That is so sweet.
Camouflaging bald spots is primarily a male concern. Perhaps we could expand our market.
How are flower barrettes going to appeal to men?
We add Bluetooth. Brilliant. Men love Bluetooth.
Wait a minute. You want to make a hair barrette with Bluetooth?
Penny, everything is better with Bluetooth.
Majestic blue whale. Now, in his 1995 breakthrough book, The Cosmic Serpent, Dr. Jeremy Narby, Swiss archaeologist, comes up with a theory that this junk DNA actually contained a coded language.
And if you still think that Comet Ping Pong in the Pizzagate thing was a psyop, you missed the whole point. You're sadly mistaken. It was there all along. It just never went mainstream because people didn't want this information to become mainstream. A personal area network that reaches 33 feet to 330 feet. Where have we heard that number before? At Pan's Grotto, at the foot of Mount Hermon, where the fallen angels came down at 33 degrees north parallel.
The Ouroboros symbol also appears in Hindu mythology. According to Hindu myths, the world was held up by 4 giant elephants who stood on top of an enormous turtle. And surrounding this massive assemblage was a gigantic serpent holding his tail in his mouth. In Hinduism, the Ouroboros symbolizes Kundalini, or primal energy. When this energy is awakened, it's like a snake that uncoils itself, leading to an enlightened state of consciousness.
You guys have got to try the cold chai.
I've had it.
Did you talk about vice presidential possibilities with Senator Warren?
You guys have got to try the cold chai.
Did you talk about vice presidential possibilities with Senator Warren?
In both Hinduism and Buddhism, the Ouroboros is associated with the concept of samsara, which is the cycle of life, from birth to death, to reincarnation. In more recent times, the psychologist and philosopher Carl Jung saw the Ouroboros as an archetypal symbol of the human psyche. For Jung, the Ouroboros symbolized our ability to regenerate ourselves through self-reflection. While its origins are mysterious, what is clear is that the Ouroboros symbol has impressed people from diverse cultural backgrounds and spiritual beliefs for centuries.
Roman is a crazy boy who lives in me, and he says the things that I don't want to say. He was born, just a few months ago. I think he was born out of rage. He was conceived in rage, so he bashes everyone. He threatens to beat people, and he's violent.
That must be nice to have like an ignorant loudmouth who you can just sort of blame every...
He wants to be blamed. I don't want to blame him. I ask him to leave, but he can't. He's here for a reason. People have brought him out. People conjured him up. Now he won't leave.
Can you please bless us with a verse?
Enter Roman. Waiting.
Dun, 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 dun.
What up?
What up, Roman?
What up? What up?
What is the situation with Roman's revenge? Why your man Wheezy's on point too? He's mad out there.
Yo, Roman's revenge is just about taking control. Saying Roman is here to stay. And anybody that ever doubted Roman is going down in a coffin.
Great rock stuff, kids.
Roman's revenge is just about taking control. Saying Roman is here to stay. And anybody that ever doubted Roman is going down in a coffin.
Great rock stuff, kids.
It's mine. This whole industry, this whole business runs off of me. Take it from me, please. I want somebody to take it from me now.
Just metal. That's what I always thought of them.
And they're not. They're living things with souls like ours. And at once I spoke to one.
Look, in a few minutes there are going to be feds all over this place, and I don't want them finding our Holy Grail.
You know that story we were all told as children about a giant asteroid that struck the Earth millions of years ago and wiped out the dinosaurs?
Vaguely.
We were wrong. This metal caused the Great Extinction.
A rare earth metal. Molecularly unstable. Industrial uses? None.
It's the Holy Grail. Transformium. That's what we're calling it.
Focus grouped. Catchy. Trademarked.
Yeah. This is the greatest advance in modern physics. It's a programmable matter.
But now we can begin to give it instructions.
We can change anything into anything.
Sensual almost. Don't you think? You like music? The pill. Perhaps something a little more violent?
it's time for the final dance.
We know these things are coming, but we don't fixate on them all the time. What we do is we want to keep our focus on Christ. When you're not fearful and you find your place in Christ, Psalm 91 is a great prayer of protection for the Christian believer, that if you claim that scripture for yourself and dwell in the hiding place of Jesus Christ, he will protect you. There's promises in that scripture for you. Just lean on Christ, surrender to Christ, believe that Christ and everything he says he means, and they're all promises that you can take to the bank. And we will persevere and stand in this time. It's the greatest time to be alive. It's the greatest time to be witnessing the return of Jesus Christ. It's the greatest time in human history.
Future that Ernest Cline, the writer of the book, envisioned. I was very careful with Ernie collaborating with me every step of the way to be able to find the movie narrative inside this dense forest of Ernie's profound imagination.
The Oasis being the ultimate toy box with all the toys in the world, and then playing that with one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. It results in just amazing action and such a fun adventure.
Ernest Cline is such a visionary, and I think has seen the future before any of us possibly could even imagine it.